guys, welcome back. This is Marianne at Cooking Pro Tips, and every time I do a video, I never know how it's going to turn out until I edit it. And then once I edit the video, then I see where I'm making my errors, I would call them, my learning curves. I'm learning. So what I've done is I've kind of like moved my kitchen table around. So I have my stove right here. I believe I have all my ingredients out except for some corn. But today we're going to be doing, out of our book, corn chowder. Mike and I can never remember ever eating corn chowder, but I'm sure our mothers made corn chowder and we just don't recall it. Everything in here we like, so it should be okay. It's bacon, onion, celery, corn, milk, potatoes, salt. Calls for pepper, but we don't like pepper, so we don't put that in. And we're going to be making along with it some cheesy biscuits. So I thought, wow, what would be really cool to have with a corn chowder? I thought biscuit, and then I thought, hey, why don't we put some cheese in there? So what we're going to start with is getting our bacon done, and it calls for 4 slices of bacon. And I cooked up some bacon yesterday. I didn't cook it all the way through, so we would get some fat. And I put the lid in the sink, so I have to get that out. Let's turn this on. And I'm super excited today because I bought a new spoon, new stainless steel spoon. Sometimes you just have to make some purchases. So you're gonna be out there in the okay. Yep. I'll holler at you if I need you. There you go. That'll work. So I like to cook bacon in the oven, and yesterday for Valentine's Day I made pancakes, bacon, and eggs because why not? We didn't want to spend any money. And I've already got bacon. So the recipe calls for cooking the bacon till it gets crispy. And you know, with my stove, you have to turn it down. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to showcase anything in here in the stove. I'll figure out what we're going to do. So then we're going to have a small onion, and I have my onion from the last week, I think it was. So we're going to chop up this onion. Let's see here. Take the root off. That's the root. Get him all peeled nice and pretty. Beautiful. Slice him up. I'm trying to slice it thin. So I think on my Italian meatballs, it was a little thick. So get this just sliced and diced. It's a cool day. Winds out of the north coming across Lake Michigan. Windy. It's one gust was up to 21 miles an hour. Okay. Get this all off of here. Reuse what we've got. So I got my onion chopped up. And here is my celery. It's set to have 2 medium celery ribs. I guess these are medium. Slice it right down the Let's check our bacon here. nicely. Get this get the celery all chopped up. You notice I don't look at the camera when I'm chopping my celery or my onions, because I want to know where my hand is at. Now I think that this chowder could be really doctored up with some slice of carrot, maybe some bell pepper slices, some cheese. We'll do it their way this time, but if we like it, we will try it different next time. Now the recipe called for 6 small ears of corn. So I'm assuming that you would make this during the summertime. Turn my flame down a little bit more. And not in the wintertime. So I'm going to use frozen corn. Alright, there's our celery and our onions that I'll be putting in here shortly. Now, I will have to cut these potatoes up. I kind of want to make sure these have a small dice. I want them to cook fast. Look at that. Oh, got a guy out here. Alright. I'm using Yukon Golds today. That's probably one of my favorite potatoes. Oh, these guys are getting nice and crispy. This out here. So it says to leaving the bacon in the pan, spoon off all but 2 tablespoons of fat. Well, I don't have a lot of fat in here because I cooked most of the bacon fat yesterday. Hello, camera. There we go. I don't know why it does that. So, in with the bacon fat, we're going to put in onion and celery. I gotta watch that camera. It's getting weird on me. Alright, so here's I'm dicing up the potatoes pretty small. Put them on there. Now it said to dice up 2 medium potatoes. So, let's see. I had these washed. I just love it when you watch people do cooking shows or whatever, and they always go, I have impeccably clean hands. Really? You want to cook food with dirty hands? I mean, I could see if you're out in the boonies, your water is not very much. But I think most people cook with clean hands. I never assume if they don't. The thing that gets me is the people that wear nail polish and you can't see underneath it, and then they're messing with the dough. And I always said it. I would have hired anybody at my bakery. One of my pet peeves is nail polish. That you can't see what's underneath that nail that's polished. And another is putting lotion on your hands after you wash them. That lotion is going in your food. So, we can't have that. Now, this is cooking up kind of nice, but I think I'm going to need a little more oil. We don't have any oil there. So, we'll put in just a little bit of olive oil. Alright, so this isn't taking too long. We have our bacon cooked, we have our onion and celery in there. I have my potatoes chopped. I have my 4.5 cups of milk. Here's 4 cups, and here's a 1/2 cup. And that's basically it. The potatoes go in after the milk goes in, and then we'll be done. And then I'll be able to do biscuits. I'm looking forward to the biscuits. I have my handy dandy new mat out here. And I will be having Mike chop up some cheese later on. Slice up some cheese. Yeah. Okay, well, now we're closer. Here is the onion and celery and the bacon. There's not a lot of grease in here. So if you're going to make this dish and you've got bacon that you've cooked up in the oven and you've got leftovers and you're going to make this, the bacon is mine's not very greasy. So we said to cook that until tender and slightly brown, 10 to 15 minutes. And then about the kernels. And I'm not sure of how many bags I would need. So I had Mike get me 2 bags out of the freezer. I'm going to use organic sweet white corn. I got it Whole Foods the other day. Now they had one that was a fire roasted organic sweet corn. Now that would be kind of tasty, I think. So we'll just sit that right there. Now it also talks about taking the corn off of the cob, and then once you take the corn off of the cob, you set the kernels aside and you add the cobs to the pot and you cook it inside the milk and the potatoes. So that would tell me that we're probably getting into some milk from the ear of corn. So anyways, that would be, it'd be kind of, I'm going to look forward to this summer. If I like this corn chowder, I'm going to look forward to doing it with some sweet corn that I get. In our area, we have a place called Sweet Corn Charlie's. I like their sweet corn. Okay, so we are at that point. We've added that. We've got the ears done. Okay. So let me make sure. When do I add my corn? It says set the kernels aside and add the cobs to the pot along with the milk and potatoes. Okay, so after you cook it for 10 to 15 minutes, then you put in the corn kernels. All right, well. Here we go. Milk. And potatoes. Now there's the milk, there's the potatoes, and I've got a little bit of this left over. Oh, come on, camera. Oh, what are you doing? I think my cameras, might have to invest in another camera. I'm going to put a little bit of cornstarch in this other half of a thing of milk to make it a little thicker, because I don't want it to be thin. Turn the flame up. So we've got the milk in there, the potatoes. We don't have any cobs, so we'll just deal with that. And then we'll stir in the corn. So I think I'm going to up it a little bit, change up the things a little bit, and there we go. Get that all stirred in. And I'm just going to stir in my corn. Now let's see how much corn is in here. 1/2 cup times 5. So it'd be 1, 2, 2.5 cups of corn. All right. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty nice. Get this down so we can see. Look at that. All right. Well, it says we got to cook it and simmer it for till the potatoes are done. Oh, this is with a solid spoon. Remove the 1.5 cup solids from the soup and puree until smooth. Return to the soup. Well, I'm not really going to puree it, because why would you want to puree it? I guess as a thickener, but I put cornstarch in it. I'm going to put the lid on that. I'm going to leave that there. And when we see you again, that'll be cooking, and I will have cheesy biscuits getting ready. Okay? See ya. Well. Hello. It's Marianne at Cooking Pro Tips. I kind of cut my head off, but it's still there. You just can't see it. Now, we're getting ready to make some biscuits. And I like to make cream biscuits because you can do so much with these. And this is the thing that, another one of my pet peeves, so it's a pro tip. When you have a book and you can read in this book, in the back of it, under flowers, you can read what they did as a cookbook knowledge base, which you don't get on recipes that you find on Pinterest, that you find on a website. A lot of them won't tell you unless you dig. I like to tell you, and I'm going to try and remember to tell you every time we do a bread flour here. Measuring flours. It is particularly important that flour is not packed when measuring it. Before measuring, stir the flour in the bag or the canister to incorporate some air. Spoon the flour lightly into the cup so that it overflows the rim. Then level it off by gently sweeping a straight-sided knife as shown opposite across the cup. Never try to level the flour by shaking the cup. So then it has pictures down here. So you can find that on page 983 of your book. So that's really interesting that a lot of people don't understand why their products or where their food never turns out the way it should. And then they get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Get a cookbook that tells you how they do the flour. Okay? So in here I have 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder that may or may not be good. Yeah. And over here in my bucket, I have fluffed up my flour. I'm spooning it in. That's what they mean by spooning it in. Okay? Now it's flowing over, and that's what you do. I don't do my knife with the, like they say, because I have a straight edge here with my scooper. Okay. So that was 2 cups of flour. Then we need some salt. And it calls for 1/2 to 3/4. Well, I go a full teaspoon. Oh, we got to start the oven. I'm only taking it to 400. Oh, I'll take it to 425. Because just because it's my oven, my biscuits. So there's all kinds of biscuit recipes. There's the rolled biscuits, the cornmeal biscuits, the quick drop biscuits, the buttermilk biscuits, even an Easter bunny biscuit. However, I like the cream biscuits or shortcake. So you got to have flour, baking powder, salt. Oh, I got to get me a spoon. So then you take 1 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. Pour it in there. Stir it around. Get it coated. Could do this in the KitchenAid. You could do it in your food processor, but you know. I'm just trying to show you how easy it is to make some yummy biscuits. Oh, and guess what? I forgot to put in the flour beforehand. Oh well, we'll see what we can get this together. I need cheddar cheese. So Mike shredded it up. There's 1/4. There's 1/2. There's 3/4 and a pinch just because. Okay? Now, let's get this out here. Now we're going to mix with a rubber spatula or wooden spoon or fork just until most of the dry ingredients are moistened. Knead and shape and bake as rolled biscuits. Okay. Well, I got to get my cheese in here. Man. Well, now you'll be able to see. I don't mind messing up. Then you'll be able to see how to fix it. This is pretty cool, huh? Okay. Let's knead this. All together. Put a little bit of flour. I don't like a lot of flour on it. Now, you can do the rolled. You can roll it out with a rolling pin. Push it out with your hand. Keep it square. Mike and I decided we wanted square biscuits. We didn't want round biscuits. We want square biscuits. So we're trying to keep this as square as possible. So there's really no reason for me to get a rolling pin out. So then I'm going to spray that, turn the flame down. That's simmering very nicely. Okay. Here we go. Now, I think I can get 9 biscuits out of this. So we're going to go a third. Look at that. And then we'll go a third. Oops. Stay right there, mister. Don't you go running away. Put you on the chair like I do Mike. Tell him to stay. Look at these beautiful biscuits. Look at those. So pretty. And you saw me forget to put the cheese in. Huh.
Okay, right for now? Or
yeah.
Fill it up more?
Yep, oh, fine. I make him a little more square. Make him a little square. It's my... I'll show you this. Oh, yeah. Let's get him squished. They will definitely need each other to rise. Okay, now. It says to follow the rolled biscuits. I did that. Cut with a biscuit cutter. Place on an ungreased baking sheet. Well, I didn't want to put it on an ungreased baking sheet. I want them to come up this high, not this way. And then it says to do... Oh, a shallot back there. Butter. But I gotta use up the rest of this avocado oil. Look at how they're sliding all around. Oh, I think I'm finally empty. That's a good thing. Avocado oil. I think I might have to get the other one out. You know, my oven needs to rise or get warm. Nope, I'm good. We like to use this chosen avocado oil. There we go. Good to go. Now, I've got everything done up. I just think a person that has cheesy biscuits should have cheese on the top. I mean, don't you agree? Cheesy biscuits need just a little cheese. And then that's going to go in the oven. And it's going to cook for like 12 to 15 minutes. And this here is our chowder. Wow, it's looking good. Yeah, I think it needs to be thicker myself. So I'm going to leave the lid off and I'm going to let it evaporate. So it'll thicken as it evaporates. So I don't really have to put too much other stuff in it. Here's a little bit of it. Shoulder is hard. Oh, it's got to cook. Cheesy biscuits. Okay. Cheesy biscuits are supposed to cook at 425. So you reduce the heat. Normally you bake the biscuits at 450, but we're reducing the heat. I'm going to wait 12 to 15 minutes, and then we'll go. We'll get them in the oven, and then when they're done, we'll bring you back. All right, so these went about 22 minutes, and you can see they're brown on the bottom. And I put my measuring thing in there, my temperature gauge. They went up to over 120, so I'm thinking that's going to be okay for those. And the soup, look at that. It thickened up very nice. And I tasted it a little bit to see if it needed anything. And the sweet corn made that sweet, so it's quite intriguing. So let's get a muff or a biscuit out. Ooh, hot. That biscuit's hot. You can see the bottom of it is nice and brown. Yeah. Whew. Ooh. Looks delicious. Okay, well, it took probably about 40 minutes for the soup to thicken up a bit. It didn't thicken up a whole bunch, but we've got a little bit of everything on here. I'm thinking it's really good soup. But it probably could use some cheese.
Oh, yeah?
I have cheese right here. That's delicious. And my biscuit.
Yeah.
I guess my baking powder was good.
My what?
My baking powder was...
Good? Good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Good. Oof.
I can taste the cheese in there.
Yeah.
So anyways, Joy of Cooking Cookbook. Corn chowder and biscuits with cheese. Delicious. Hello, everybody out there. By now you've watched the corn chowder recipe, and hopefully you picked up on the cheesy biscuit recipe. Anyhow, this corn chowder is really good. It did thicken up a little bit. When we were eating it, I added a little bit of cheese, and it helped out a lot. However, I think I would not use 4.5 cups of milk. I think I would cut it back to about 3.5 to 3 3/4 cups of milk. And I would add something else in here, because the sweet corn makes this a very sweet chowder, which is good if you like that. But I think I would have added, I have to go do that. I'm going to add in some chicken bouillon that'll kind of like salt it up a little bit, because I didn't put a lot of salt in. I put some regular salt, and then I put some of my seasoned salt in it. However, that's my thing, is I would put some chicken bouillon in it while it's cooking. And then, other than that, I thought it was pretty tasty. So we'll wait and see what happens the second warming up. See what happens on that. Now, as far as the cheesy biscuits, I have to tell you, I've had those biscuits. I've had the biscuit, not cheesy biscuit, before. And putting that cheese, now it was a good quality Vermont sharp cheddar cheese that I put in there, and it was delicious. But in the book, on the opposite page of the biscuit, there's herbs and everything that you can put in there. And what's really nice is if you left out the cheese from that biscuit, you could put a little bit of sugar in it. Not a whole bunch, just a little, sweeten it up a little bit. And then bake those off, and you would have biscuits for your strawberries or your peaches. And I have some frozen peaches out in the garage, in the freezer. that I think would be really good on top of that biscuit with some vanilla ice cream. So anyhow, we got 6 biscuits left. We're probably only going to eat 2, so I'll probably put 4 in the freezer. But I have to read up and see how biscuits, how you freeze biscuits and all that before we are for sure going to do that. Well, we're going to do it regardless, aren't we? Because I'm not going to eat a biscuit every day. So anyhow, that's my rendition of our day-to-day Thursday, February 15th. We had corn chowder, which was our first time ever having it. And it's the first time I ever made cheesy biscuits. I have made that recipe from biscuits before. I do like it. So on to next week's, and we'll go from there, folks. Enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like us, and share with your family and friends, and everybody get to cooking. There's enough soup here that you could cook and have those cheesy biscuits, and you could have probably 9 people over eating. It would be a delicious meal and not too much hurting on your pocketbook. Peace out.